From the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
What a difference a day makes. It snowed across Hampton roads overnight.
But by the time most of us woke up this morning, the snow melted. 10 on your side viewers sent in pictures of snow in Gloucester, Williamsburg, and Saluda to report it at WAVY.com.
So the question now, what next? Let's turn to Chief Meteorologist Don Slater for the answer. What's going on?
Well, the thing about this is that it's pretty much all melted. There are some sheltered areas on the Middle Peninsula and the Northern Neck, in other words, in the shade, where you're still seeing a little bit of snow on the ground. But temperatures warmed up today. I want to show you how things went with this storm. This was our prediction from Friday night. I'm not trying to toot our own horn, just kind of showing you what the extent of the forecast was. And really the forecast models shifted a little bit farther southward during the weekend. And this is our actual estimate for what we ended up with. This is pretty much what we got. And you'll note pretty much 1 to 2 inches all the way on up toward the eastern shore, 2 to 3 inches for the Middle Peninsula, Northern Neck, with some pockets a little bit more than that. But basically, it all melted. Look at the high temperatures today, basically around 43 to 48 degrees, so well above freezing during the day today. This is kind of fun. This is our tower cam on a time-lapse sequence overnight. It's really, really tough to estimate the snow, and here's why. We started seeing a mixture, and you'll see it, and then we saw slush, and everything just plain disappeared, but then it changed back over to rain again. So it was really kind of tough to estimate how much snowfall we got. Not much on the ground, obviously, when it's all slush and then it rains on top of the slush. So if it would have been a cold snow, it would have been a lot more, but it wasn't. Our temperature only dropped into the mid-30s overnight. So again, it wasn't that bad with the end result. We'll talk about an even better end result with our forecast in a few minutes.
The weather caused problems for crews trying to remove a beached whale in Norfolk. The mammal washed ashore in Ocean View over the weekend, and it's been there ever since. 10 on your side's Art Kahn is live at the scene with the latest. Art?
Yeah, good evening, Nicole. We're about a quarter-mile southeast of the Ocean View fishing pier. Behind me here, you see the body of an adult sei whale. Now, we know this is an adult because scientists tell me that this particular species grows to be about 40 to 60 feet long. So with this body measuring about 45 feet, reasonable expectation that this guy was full grown. Now, Nick will move in closer to the body of the whale. You'll also notice towards the tail section, there are some gashes or lacerations. Looked like they may have been caused by a propeller. Further up, there's a big gash in the animal's head, and there was a skull fracture, likely to have been caused by a collision with a boat. However, as is the case with any death investigation, you can't jump to conclusions here, mainly because we don't know if this happened after the animal was dead or if this is in fact what caused the animal's death. Scientists will be performing a necropsy tomorrow. Now, that's the animal equivalent of an autopsy. That's going to be very important, and I'll tell you why. It's going to have implications for both humans and whales. I'll have more on that for you coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. Reporting live from Ocean View, Art Kahn, 10 on your side.
Thanks, Art. Sei whales usually travel alone or in small groups of 5 or less. According to the Department of Environmental Conservation, it is rare to see a sei whale in U.S. waters.
A busy weekend for Norfolk police. Detectives are searching for the suspects who shot 6 people and stabbed another man to death. 7 o'clock Sunday night, officers found 32-year-old Kenneth Wilson shot to death in the parking lot of East Princess Anne Road. And early Sunday morning, someone shot 5 people outside a nightclub on East Little Creek. Police say it all began as a fight inside Club Visions at Ward's Corner. The fight moved into the parking lot where someone shot 4 men and a woman. Police say all those victims will be okay. 10 on your side did learn the owner shut down the nightclub permanently. It was set to close by the end of the month to make way for a new development. Also on East Little Creek Road, police found 46-year-old El Pedido Rodriguez III stabbed to death early Saturday morning. Police have made no arrests. You should call the crime line if you can help.
The manufacturer of equipment the Chesapeake police chief says caused an officer's death is calling foul. Ziegel Dive Systems president says he reached out to Chesapeake police today. He wants to see that equipment in question. The police chief says Officer Timothy Schock's power inflator and ripcord failed. Officer Schock's death, the chief said. 12 other Ziegel ripcords failed testing. Ziegel's president says Chesapeake police never contacted him. At the very least, he wants to know who conducted those tests and how they were done.
There's a development debate in Chesapeake over plans for a large-scale housing and retail project in Western Branch. Homeowners who lived in the proposed Breckenridge development off Portsmouth Boulevard not only don't want it in their backyard, they don't want it, period. They plan to show up and make their voices heard at City Council Tuesday night. And on your side's Ava Hurdle is live at the site with more on this story. Ava?
Hey Tom, we're here at the intersection of Portsmouth Boulevard and Jolliffe Road, and behind me over there you can see the 400-acre site. It's one of the last big parcels of land in this part of the city.
I have at least 1,600 signatures. There are more coming into our online site.
These are signatures of Chesapeake residents all opposed to this multi-million-dollar housing project. It will bring 1,500 or so homes, townhomes, condos, and apartments to their neighborhood.
We do not want this project on this last large parcel of land in Western Branch because it is not the right fit for our community or for our city.
Homeowners are concerned that the incoming new residents will overwhelm nearby schools, plus fire service and police.
We have 1.62 police officers per 1,000 residents. The state average is 2.3, so we're already spread thin.
We talked with a developer by telephone, and he's already asked the city council to table the matter for 30 days.
We're asking for continuance to continue to evolve our project, to improve it based upon the feedback we've already received from the community and the stakeholders and the city leadership.
Meantime, these concerned citizens have posted signs in the community asking fellow residents to attend Tuesday's council meeting to make their voices heard. Now, we did hear from one Chesapeake City councilman who told us that a continuance is out of the question for him. We're live in Chesapeake. Ava Hurdle, 10 on your side.
And Ava also asked the developer what he would do if his project does not get a continuance. He simply replied, quote, "We'll take it from there." Again, that meeting is set for 6:30 tomorrow night at Chesapeake City Hall.
A 6-year-old is the first to die from the flu this season in North Carolina. The child died more than 2 weeks ago of complications from an influenza infection. Health officials are not releasing that child's hometown or gender to protect the family's privacy. This time last year, North Carolina's flu death toll was 14. The Centers for Disease Control says flu season officially started last week, the slowest start in nearly 25 years. Health experts say it's ideal to get vaccinated early because getting the shot before the season is in full force gives the body a chance to build up immunity to or protection from the virus. But the flu shot can still be helpful later. Protesters gathered in the state capitol to fight bills that could make abortions illegal in Virginia. Tonight at 5:30, we get answers about the procedure behind the so-called rape law.
A little girl tried to cross the street and tried to avoid a car. That car hit her. The driver ran, and yes, it was all caught on tape. You'll see the video and hear from the victim.
It's been on the market for weeks, but now the FDA is investigating inhalable caffeine. Why some people are awake with worry about this new product.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Libus, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
A California company is again seeking FDA approval for its diet drug. The Food and Drug Administration rejected Qnexa in 2010 over concerns about possible links to heart problems and birth defects. But now drug maker Vivis is coming back with an additional data. If approved, Qnexa will be the first prescription weight loss pill approved in more than a decade.
It's been on the market for a month. Now the Food and Drug Administration plans to investigate whether inhalable caffeine is safe. AeroShot is available in Massachusetts, New York, and France. Each plastic canister contains the same caffeine as one large cup of coffee. It didn't require FDA review because it's sold as a dietary supplement.
The bottom line is this product asks more questions than we have answers. And to have it on our shelves before those answers are given is a serious, serious, serious mistake.
Senator Schumer wants the FDA to look into the product's effect on teens and how it acts when it's mixed with alcohol.
A daring rescue from a burning home. You'll hear from the man captured on video running into the flames.
Also, he gave children another chance at life and died from one of the ailments he treated.
I just started pacing the floor and I'm like, no, no. This man just saved my daughter's life a couple months ago.
Why local families are stunned by a CHKD doctor's death and paying tribute to his life's work.
High temperatures today, well into the 40s, so it's kind of like what snow for most of us. It really melted pretty rapidly in the afternoon sunshine. A little bit of snow remaining in some shady areas. What's happening tonight, tomorrow, into the weekend? I'll tell you in just a few minutes.
And we couldn't pass this up. In honor of President's Day, some presidential trivia. James Polk, the 11th president, was the first to have his photograph taken.
Theodore Roosevelt was the first president to ride in a car while in office. His fifth cousin and the 32nd president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was the first to ride in an airplane. He saved children's lives. Now families are honoring the life and work of a beloved neurologist at CHKD.
Dr. Donald Lewis passed away Friday after a brain hemorrhage. 10 on your side's Katie Collette talked to the family of one of Dr. Lewis's patients.
Inside CHKD in Norfolk is a wishing well. 5-year-old Abby Grimes made a wish there once to never be hospitalized again. A wish made after a very difficult time.
Unfortunately, this little girl has had a very rough 2 years. I mean, hospitalized November 1 year and then hospitalized again in November a year later.
Clear off so you can get this fish.
Yeah, we're going to go get some fish this week.
Abby suffers from seizures. Her parents, Amy and Franklin, took her to doctors nationwide to make it all stop. And they finally found the answer they needed in Norfolk with Dr. Donald Lewis and his team at CHKD.
And he was awesome.
Amy says day or night, if Abby relapsed, Dr. Lewis insisted he know.
He's like, if I got to come in, I'll come in, you know, because sometimes on-call doctors would stay at home. But he's like, if I got to come in, if I got to do an EEG, have them call me right away. I'll be there.
And he always was. But Friday, the Grimes family received devastating news. 60-year-old Dr. Lewis passed away.
I just started pacing the floor, and I'm like, no. This man just saved my daughter's life a couple months ago. No.
In a tragic irony, their beloved neurologist lost his life to a brain hemorrhage.
It's unfair that he had to go the way he did, because here he is saving all these kids' lives. And yet he went pretty much the same thing for what he's saving these children for.
That's me asleep in the handicapped stroller.
Children like Abby, who, thanks to Lewis, can still play with their dogs and even meet their favorite singers.
It was Justin Bieber.
And when Abby learned her doctor died, there was one more thing she wanted to do. She headed back to CHKD to that wishing well and made one more wish.
We had to say another prayer for his family and another wish that his wife would get through this.
And perhaps in some small way, it'll help to know part of Dr. Lewis will always live on in the smiles of the countless children he dedicated his life to save.
That's 10 on your side's Katie Collette. In a statement in memory of Dr. Lewis, CHKD and EVMS said, quote, "We grieve the loss of a friend and honor the memory of a phenomenal man whose legacy is a generation of healthier children and a host of grateful colleagues." Dr. Lewis's memorial service is Wednesday afternoon, 2 o'clock at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in Norfolk.
Not a lot of snow fell here, but it's a different story in other parts of the state. Several inches fell in Hillsville, west of Hampton Roads. It accumulated on trees and on the grass there. Wow, that's pretty. But the roads were mostly slush.
And so many of you sent in pictures to reported@wavy.com or posted them on our Facebook page. You're getting a look at some of them now. You'll find a slideshow of what it looked like across Hampton Roads right there on wavy.com. It's all gone now, for the most part.
Somebody actually was able to make a snowman. I wonder where that was.
Yeah.
Williamsburg, maybe?
One downtown
Do they have enough
Norfolk.
there?
Yeah, you'd have to really collect it even into Williamsburg. Because it was
and
so
put it in the
slushy.
refrigerator. And,
Yeah, and freeze it. Because again, the snow totals, the thing about it was that it was really tough to measure, because you'd get snow 1 minute, it'd change back over to rain, and it was real slushy snow anyway, and very wet snow. Want to show you what Super Duper 10 Live had as far as snow totals. I'm not going to put the actual totals on here because really they're kind of skewed by by the fact that it kind of melted. And so again, there was a lot of snow that fell, but much of it melted on contact, or it melted once it got a little bit of rain on top of it. You can see over Accomack County, there's a little more of a blue area, a little bit heavier snow there. But the heaviest snow was right through here, and especially just to the west of the Richmond area, into the Short Pump area. Yesterday evening at around 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, they had about 3, 4, 5 inches of snow. Very, very heavy snow bursts traveled northward right through here during the evening hours last night. We were a little concerned about that because that kind of touched into the Toano and Williamsburg area, Gloucester County as well, parts of Gloucester County with some of that very, very heavy snow. Now we zoom in for a little closer view, and you can see in the blue areas a little bit of heavier snow where we did get up to around an inch or more. But again, your results may differ in your backyard, especially in Gloucester County, where most reports have been around 2 inches, but we've had some unofficial reports of up to 4 inches heavier snow toward the Richmond and Petersburg area. We move on down to the Hampton Roads cities, and you can see it basically just stops in the northern sections of Chesapeake, a little bit into Norfolk. I was up late last night. I was here late last night, and then up beyond that on watching things. And again, it changed over to snow, but it was melting on contact into Norfolk, and you can see even into Gates County, north of Ahoskie, into Hertford County. We can see some snow there, and toward the Sunbury area in Gates County. So again, that's what was going on. A lot of rain out of this too. You can see during the late afternoon hours, especially, a very solid area of rain lifted northward. That also kicked off the heavier snow to the Richmond area, where they did get 4 or 5 inches of snow. Again, mainly just to the west of the Richmond area. Wintry mix from most of the south side, 1 inch, but again, it melted as much as around an inch, especially over Accomack County. And again, your results may differ just a bit in your backyard. There could be a little burst that stretches for a mile or so, but I want to show you how difficult it is to measure this snow. 12:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the morning, rain, little bit of a mix, and then it becomes solid slush, just covers everything. But then it changes back over to rain again. So it kind of knocked down what snow we had. So again, the storm generated its own cold air, very unusual storm. No cold air was drawn in from the north on this. It stayed warm really today into the 40s. And of course, last night, many areas didn't drop below freezing. Snow estimates were very, very difficult to measure. Storm gone, spring soon. We're going to see temperatures really, really warm on up into the end of the week. Here's what's going on right now. Skies are clear as a bell. Northerly winds 5 to 10 at 9 o'clock this evening. Overnight, they become southwesterly. Little bit of a passage just offshore. A little bit of a trough line passes offshore and may create a sprinkle, but it will create some cloud cover during the day for tomorrow into tomorrow night at midnight. Then by Wednesday, this cool front, is that going to cool things off? No, all it's going to do is switch our winds over to the west, and a westerly breeze to southwesterly breeze means a very, very nice warm day coming up. Now today wasn't bad either. 43, 47 as far as our current temperatures throughout the area. We'll drop to around the freezing point overnight, and during the day tomorrow, about 54 degrees, 62 on Wednesday, 71 on Thursday. Yeah, you heard that one right. Then a cool front pops out through with some rain on Friday, cooling things back down a bit for the weekend. But look at that, 71 by Thursday.
A boat on fire. Find out how the people on board escaped these flames.
And at 5:30, a new cell phone sold exclusively in Hampton Roads. We're going to show you the one feature it's missing and why. May be hard to watch, but Philadelphia police hope video of a car hitting a 9-year-old will lead them to a suspect.
I was riding my bicycle and the car was coming up fast.
The girl tried to cross the street on her bike Tuesday. When she saw the car coming, she jumped off her bike and tried running. Security video from a nearby building shows what happened. The car hit her, knocking her onto the sidewalk, and the car, there it goes. The little girl will be okay. She had several cuts and bruises.
A Good Samaritan rescued 2 people from this burning home in Massachusetts, and it was all caught on tape. Surveillance video from a business across the street shows the smoke and flames there. Then watch as a man from another business ran down the street and right inside that burning home. Look at that. Both people made it out safely.
No, I'm not here. Just help who can help. You should,
We are very grateful for what he did to risk his own life and to save our family.
The fire department says the fire started on the front porch. Investigators are working to determine a cause there. A film crew shooting a documentary in the Persian Gulf off the coast of Iran came upon a ship on fire. Crew members on the burning boat jumped into the water and swam towards the TV crew's boat. Look at them jump there. 9 people were rescued. That fire started in the engine room and took more than an hour to put out.
Grocery store spending. How many times have you walked out of the store with a receipt a lot longer than your shopping list? Well, if you're buying more than you planned, maybe the store's to blame. We'll tell you what they're doing to make you buy more.
And the trial continues for a former UVA lacrosse player accused of killing his ex-girlfriend tonight at 5:30. Hear when the jury will get this case.
And more presidential trivia. John Tyler had the most children of any president. Yep, 15.
Woo!
By now, you've probably heard about Elephant Auto Insurance. Maybe you've heard about how we lock in your low rate for a full year. Maybe you've heard how much people save when they switch. Maybe you've heard about our great service and claims handling. Or maybe you've just heard my good friend here. Call or visit us online at elephant.com and you could save a ton. Hey, easy, buddy. There's not much left up there.
Big government isn't going to help the American recovery. We need to focus on jobs to get our economy back on track. In the Senate, George Allen supported tax cuts that spurred economic growth. He supports a balanced budget amendment. And as Virginia's governor, Allen cuts spending and waste with bipartisan support. Call George Allen. Tell him to keep fighting to promote Virginia jobs. Paid for by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. 100 years of standing up for American enterprise.
Orthodontic care is a family thing at WOODARD Orthodontics. This father-daughter team provides personalized care and a variety of treatment options for every member of your family. Visit WAVY.com for more about treatments offered by WOODARD Orthodontics, WAVY's expert on your side.
At American Military University, we're inspired by our students. More than scholars, they're everyday heroes who selflessly protect and improve their communities. As a nationally recognized leader in online learning, we're honored to educate those who serve with premier degrees for national security and public service professionals. Learn how American Military University is setting the standard for affordable, quality online education. Visit us at amuonline.com.
If it's new at 11, it's on WAVY News 10.
It's the President's Day event at your local Ford dealer. Yeah, it's time to save big at your local Ford dealer right now. Save your hard-earned money on the Ford that's right for you. That's right. It's the President's Day event at your local Ford dealer.
It's happened to many of us more than once. You go to the grocery store with that short list and come out with a cart full of groceries. Stores have a way to make sure you spend more than you plan. Most stores have you enter from the right side, and studies find that shoppers who go counterclockwise spend 7% more on groceries. Wow. Also, staples like milk, bread, eggs, they're in the back. So you may pick up something along the way to get there. There are other product placement tricks. Staples like flour and sugar, they're on the bottom shelves, but soft drinks and cereals, oh baby, eye level. The most expensive or the more expensive salad dressings and salsas are often placed in the produce section, giving the impression that they're somehow fresher or healthier than the other brands. And here's another popular technique, placing fish on crushed ice. Supermarket refrigerator cases don't need ice to keep seafood at the right temperature. It's just for show. Also, items on the end of the aisle and on aisle displays are cheaper, but they get you to stop and spend. The best way to avoid all this, make that list and stick to it. Stick with us. WAVY News 10 at 5:30 starts right now.